Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you guys are. I am always so curious to know who watches my videos and where you guys are from. So if you guys want to comment that down below, I'd love to reply back and just get to know you guys. I have been seeing that a few of my videos had a little bit more views than usual, and that just made me super excited and also really grateful. And I wanted to say thank you to those who do take time out of their day to watch my videos. It means so much to me. So thank you to you guys. So I actually wanted to film this video yesterday, but the weather definitely played tribute to just like my total mood. For the past 2 to 3 weeks, I have been definitely in a little bit of a funk just because it's already mid-June and it's still raining here in Oregon. It's been pretty chilly. Like last night was like almost 50 degrees and I was wearing a long sleeve in my house without the air on, and I was just thinking, wow, this is kind of sucky. But I have just been kind of in a funk. But today has been a total turnaround. It's currently 70 degrees and I'm filming in front of my window because the sun is out today and we are winning today. But back to the video. As you guys can see from the title, I'm going to be doing a little review / try on of Buxom Cosmetics new bronzer. So if you guys are interested in this video, then just keep on watching. So these are the new Staycation bronzers that Buxom launched probably like 2 to 3 weeks ago. So the first purchase I got was the Staycation Vibes in the shade Rooftop Tan. I actually want to give a really big shout out to, my camera is not focusing. It's just, there we go, we're focused. So I wanted to do a big shout out to my friend Maria on Instagram. She is the sweetest person ever. Highly recommend that you follow her. She takes amazing product shots and she does really great swatches and reviews. So if you guys are all about that, I highly recommend you check her out. I'll make sure to link her down in the description box below. But she definitely encouraged me to purchase this. I saw it on her page and was like, holy cow, the texture looks amazing and the packaging too is just super cute. I am all about this like clear acrylic style packaging. It just looks very clean, and I actually have their original bronzer. This definitely is not like a contour type of bronzer. This is more of a all over sun-kissed glow. It does have a little bit of shimmer and radiance to it, so I wouldn't recommend trying to contour out your face with this, just because anything with shimmer could be a little bit disruptive and also be a little bit harsh. It's just in my opinion. But I really just use this as like an everyday product. I take a big brush and kiss it all over my skin and it gives me a healthy glow. I was a little bit thrown back though, I have to be very honest with you, that they only brought out 2 shades and they aren't very dark at all. So I'm hoping that they extend their lines, but nonetheless both of these products are super gorgeous. So I'm going to swatch the middle shade and then the outer shade just so you guys can see the difference. Texture right off the bat is very powdery, but the outer portion seems to be a little bit more creamier. Middle portion, and this is the outer portion. I'm actually going to swatch the middle portion a little bit more so that way you guys can see. Middle portion and then the outer portion. Those were the up close shots and also the swatches of the bronzers. Let's start off with the Rooftop Tan. The center portion is very light, and as far as the second color, it's definitely more of that like bronzy peachy shade. So overall thoughts on this, because I have been playing around with it, is that in my opinion it's definitely not a standalone bronzer. Like I wouldn't use this alone, just because I mean, as you guys can see on my skin, it definitely pulls more of that like peachy bronzy shade. And when I say bronze, it's very light and it's definitely more of like an all over cheek / blush color, and that's actually how I've been using it. The first time I tried it out, I did use it over top of a cream contour. I thought it was like the perfect warm tone, and then I tried it out alone and I do have to say that it pulled more peach and it just didn't look right alone, so I ended up mixing it with a darker, deeper bronzer, and it ended up being like the perfect bronzy peachy shades. As far as the backyard bronze, this is definitely like my ideal all over sun-kissed kind of color. It definitely pulls more warm on the skin, so I'm really happy that I actually picked this shade up just because I can see myself using this as an all-over bronzer. Much like my Tahiti bronzer, I feel like these two could work really well. It doesn't have too much of a shimmer to it too, so I feel like it's going to be very soft and creamy on the skin, versus the Tahiti bronzer, it does have that like radiance to it, so sometimes I have to be careful using too much because my skin ends up being super beaming with that like gold radiance. Actually, now that I'm swatching it, the Tahiti leans more towards the same tones as the Rooftop tan, which is super funny because when you apply it on, it does become super warm, but when you swatch it, it ends up leaning more towards that like peachy bronzy gold shade. So I'm going to try and use as much Buxom products as I can. Luckily, I still have a little bit of my Buxom foundation. So I'm going to start off by prepping the skin. I'm going to use my Marc Jacobs Invisible Undercover Perfecting Coconut Primer. This was like the first ever expensive makeup that I ever got, and I have to tell you, I will always love this primer. I got it because it had coconut in it, and it's a hydrating primer, and if there's one thing about me, I really love a good hydrating product. Even though I do lean more towards like the normal combo side and I have a very oily T-zone, I still will always opt for the more hydrating product just because it works really well with my skin, and I'd rather be hydrated than super matted, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm going to go in with Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation. So this does has SPF 30 in it, and it's more of like a light to medium coverage foundation. And I'm using the shade You're Natural. So they don't have this product anymore, and I'm pretty sure this is... I don't think it's expired, or maybe it is, I don't know, but I am really bummed that they discontinued this. They don't have it, and Buxom, if you're listening to me, I hope you can reformulate something like this and come out with a new product, because this stuff is really good. So fun fact, I actually heard about this product when Kylie Jenner was doing her glam room tour. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but she was wearing this like Adidas shorts and t-shirt set, and she pulled out her makeup drawer, and this was one of the foundations she shared, and immediately went to Ulta and wanted to try out the foundation. And I am blending out my foundation with the Pro Flawless Airbrush foundation in the number 56. So I'm going to mix these two Tarte products together. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Glow On, and I'm using the shade Aglow. Nope, a light. I honestly wasn't really sure what this product was when I first got it. I thought it was just like a liquid illuminator, which it is, but it definitely has like a little bit more of that like brightening element, so I really like to use it in conjunction with my concealer. It gives you this very like hydrated soft glow. It's not obnoxious at all. Okay, so I've zoomed you guys in just a teensy bit just so that way you guys can see these bronzers up close. I'm going in with Rooftop Tan using a Real Techniques buffing brush. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's super warm. It's a little bit more on the peachier side. I definitely went in a little bit heavier than I usually would, just to really share with you guys how the color turns out if you do apply a lot. So it's giving the skin a very healthy, glowy finish. It's very easily blended onto the skin. It feels very creamy. But as far as the overall shade, like, it looks good on, but personally it feels a little bit too peachy bronze. As far as using it as like a cheek color, I definitely would leave it as is, but as a bronzer, I definitely would need to go in with something a little bit more darker to add a little bit more definition. Okay, so we're going in with the Backyard Bronze. Ooh, I am... So the powder is very creamy. I do have to say that. Like, you don't need a lot. Like, that was me just kind of swirling the brush very gently back and forth into the pan. I actually feel very guilty for swatching that much. Definitely loaded. Oh my god. I definitely overloaded the bronzer on this brush. Okay, so we're just not gonna say anything till I fully blend everything out. We're gonna trust the process. I'm gonna go in with this big, fluffy, beautiful Finish Bare Minerals blush because I definitely went in way too heavy with this, and I'm seeing a lot of splotchiness because I added too much powder. So I'm gonna go in and see if I can kind of buff this out. So I went in way too heavy with the Backyard Bronze. I probably swirled the brush way too many times into the pot. So rule of thumb, if you are working with these bronzers, they're super creamy, and the powders are very delicate. So a big fluffy brush and just kind of like gently pouncing the brush into the pan would work best. You don't need a swirl to pick up as much product because, as you guys saw, there was so much fallout in the pan. I feel really guilty for doing that, and really unnecessary because, as you guys can see, it definitely packed on the product. I liked how I was able to really blend and manipulate the powder with like a more fluffy brush, so that way I can kind of smooth everything out. It didn't fix the fact that there's just so much bronzer on the skin, but at least you guys can see the true color of this bronzer. But overall, definitely more of my vibe with this bronzer. You can see it's a lot more warmer, and I feel like it's a little bit more matted. I don't know if that's just because I put a ton on compared to the other side. You guys can see there's a lot of radiance peeking through, versus this side I feel like it's super matted. To sum it up, I love both of these. I feel like these are very different shades. I feel like this is more of like that peachy bronze shade that you can layer up with bronzers to really help give you that very sun-kissed beachy glow. And it has a little bit more radiance into the skin. As you guys can see, the skin just looks very healthy, very natural on this side, as opposed to the Backyard Bronze. And honestly, I can't really tell you which one I like best. I would say I am leaning more towards the Rooftop Tan just because I like the radiance it gives my skin, and I like how I'm able to layer it with other bronzers. I feel like with this bronzer, I feel like it's just kind of like your basic bronzer. That's not a bad thing. I think it's really good. I mean, everybody needs a bronzer. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's finish off the skin. Since we're kind of mismatching the face, we might as well trial out a few of their blushes. My favorite shade is Mykonos, and then I also got Ibiza, so we're gonna try out these two. I am really excited to try out Ibiza. I'm also gonna swatch the Mykonos. This is like the perfect peachy pink shade. I'm probably like the worst swatcher, so I apologize that these are so sloppy. skin has like a little bit of a luminosity. And I love this shade. Okay, now we're gonna go in with Mykonos. I actually really like the Rooftop tan together with the Mykonos. I feel like they mix really well together. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna finish my eyes off camera. Alright guys, so this is the final look. I hope it's not too distracting that I have two blushes on. I don't think it's that noticeable until like I turn fully to the side, then you can really see that they're different shades. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.